All right, welcome everybody. And we are here on the 9th of July. It is about 85 degrees where I am here in Edwardsville, Illinois. And we're going to talk today about about effective client relationships. So here's a little top slide for you. I guess the reason I wanted to do this is it seems to me like it's obvious that we need to have great client relationships. But it can't be overemphasized why it should be obvious and why we need to be talking about this. That our clients are the lifeblood of who we are, and not just about who we are and what we're trying to do today, but who we are to become, and that's really critical. So I just want to make sure we talk about that. So if you think back on our survey, and this is the survey from about 5 years ago now, that we did with all of our independent consultants. So there's about almost 300 respondents. And we said, what's the best way to market? What's the best way to develop your business? And 93% of our folks said that actively soliciting new work from our past clients or current clients is the way to go. And then actively soliciting referrals from our clients is the 91%. So I mean, this is across the board. Everybody agrees that the way to create a business revolves around working with your clients successfully, meeting their needs and everything else. But that's the way that you develop your business. Now, we've talked about marketing in the past and how you go out and make new leads and network and things like this. But the majority of the work that you're going to develop in the future, if you don't have a practice, we talk about how you get started. But once you have a practice, then you're going to be working with those clients, and those clients will learn to love you because you're going to be fantastic at what you do. And then they're going to think of new ways to work with you. And that's what this is all about. So this is what I'm saying. Why does this matter? It allows you to successfully complete your work. Just having great client relationships means when you ask for that data set that you need, they turn it around and they give it to you in a short amount of time, hypothetically. Because you have that relationship, they believe in what you're doing and they give it back to you. I mean, this should seem obvious to everyone, but it's not. You want to do great work, you need to have just a personal relationship with your folks. It develops new opportunities for you to work with your clients. So your clients say, hey, now that we're doing X, why don't we turn around and do Y? Gives you a chance to match your current clients from two different disparate areas together. So this is a classic example of a grant that we're waiting to hear about getting funded. I have people who are involved with military-connected school districts. So I have military-connected school districts that serve students whose parents are in the military or who work on military bases or who are contractors. And so we do STEM work with them. And then on the other end, I have people who do STEM summer camps. STEM, obviously, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so we had this opportunity to create a grant, a very big one, that is STEM summer camps for military-connected school districts. Well, the military-connected school districts people said, well, we don't know how to do summer camps. And the summer camp people said, we don't know anything about military-connected school districts. So I put them all together, and we wrote this proposal together, and we're still waiting to hear about it, which would be crazy and life-changing, and it's going to be wild how much you guys know if that comes through. But that's an example of matching current clients together for new opportunities. I've done this a couple times. Gives you a chance to network for new opportunities with the assistance of your current clients through like meetings that you could go to with them. When like the National Science Foundation, which I have several projects with, asks to have a client, collaborative meeting, or the Department of Defense does this too. I'm frequently asked to go, and I choose to go because what a fantastic way to understand your clients, spend some time with them in a new city, which is fun, by the way. I mean, why wouldn't you do that, right? I mean, I've been all over. I've been to San Francisco and New Orleans and Orlando, and the list is pretty long. And usually we get to go on really cool places, and we get to see the B-2 bomber recently in Missouri here, over by Kansas City. Go on battleships. It's just wild. So I mean, yeah, go. You get to network and meet your not only meet your clients, but also that's a great opportunity to put yourself in front of other people who have gotten these funds. So, and then because you've created a relationship, this creates sustainability. So that's why these things matter. Anyhow, so here's some key ideas. And I have shared before, let me see if I can find this here. I've shared, all of my documents are in this drive that I just put into the Zoom group chat. And so I'm referencing a worksheet that you can use to reference back to. It's just something to look at. It's not a worksheet that you do any work with. It's just a reference sheet. But I pulled this off of something that I've used for roundtables in the past. So you want to start collaborative. One of the main reasons you want to collaborate with your clients is that, well, at some point before they even get their new work, they're going to be developing evaluation plans. And I mean, it's obvious to me. I want to be there when they're developing the evaluation plan because I will have to carry out that work. If possible, I want to help them develop their goals. I want to help them think through their logic model, because a good evaluation plan in my mind, and at least for my clients, is following through that process and thinking through what they're trying to do. And so when I go to do my measurement on their effectiveness, I have an understanding of what they're trying to do. The worst situation is when somebody has this project that's been going on for like a year or 2 years, and they say, hey, we need an evaluator. And then you go in and you have to do what I call eval recon, evaluation reconnaissance, where you go and you say, okay, what do you have? What do you know? What can we figure out? So you want to start early. That's going to set you up for success anyway. Understand your client expectations, particularly when you're dealing with a new client who has maybe limited experience with evaluation. You want to make sure you understand what they expect. Frequently, they don't know what to expect from an evaluator, so you might need to lay this stuff out. Oftentimes, people understand research, but I mean, a lot of my new clients are coming to me because they have a requirement for evaluation in their grant proposal, and so they've often been kind of a little adverse with me at first, saying, why do I need you? I can do this myself. I understand research. Well, the reality is I'm providing, and you are providing, a really special service to them, and one that is really going to help them. And as they get to know you and spend some time with you, they're going to realize the value of your services, particularly since they won't have, oftentimes they're not paying for it. It's coming from the funder when they get the grant. And don't forget your relationship with those funders. I was talking about going to funder meetings, the client meetings that are kickoff meetings oftentimes. I usually like to get to know the funder there too, because if they like you, then it's certainly going to make things a lot easier when you submit your annual reports. It also gives you a better understanding for what their expectations are for you. And I also say this too, like, my client is my main focus, even though the funding is often comes from a national source, from the National Science Foundation or the Department of Defense or the U.S. Department of Education. But I never overlook what their expectations are. And I read their documentation very carefully, because I try and, it just saves me work. I'm lazy, let's be honest. I want to write an evaluation report that's going to serve everybody's needs. So I see layers to it. I'm always trying to answer their questions as well as answering the questions and needs of my clients, but I'm also answering the questions of my funders. After you've developed a relationship, you want to make sure you're cultivating that. Think about those little things. Christmas cards, swag. I love coffee cups. Close by. They're always across the room. Be present with your clients. And I mean, when I say present, be like literally show up. I know that's harder today, this COVID-19 world that we're living in. But I work with a lot of projects that have teachers and professional development. They have meetings during the summer. And when they have their meetings, I try to show up and be there, like literally hang out and talk with the teachers. There's usually free lunch. So like, yeah, I'm going to go eat free lunch if I can. That's why I like doing a lot of my projects locally, because then I get to know them. But this is also those times when you have unexpected, and I think I've talked about this in the past, the unexpected happens. And the unexpected is the unexpected opportunities for new projects. When I sit there with my client and we're eating lunch and we're eating, a salad from the local pizza place that was brought in for our meal, and we're just hanging out in the other room while some professional development's going on in the classroom down the hall. That's when my clients frequently will say, hey, we really should be working on fill in the blank, something. And it happens all the time. Make your data fun, right? This is the whole, I pointed out in the email I put out to you guys that Stephanie Evergreen's going to come and join us in a couple weeks with Nina Savar. She wrote several books, which again, right over there on the other side of the room, about data visualization. Think about how your data can be used by your clients. They love good data visualization and dashboarding and these sorts of things, interactive displays. And so we really doubled down on that in my practice. Tom, my collaborator, coworker, employee, he spends lots of time, all the time, developing these things out, and our clients just love them, and we continue to get better and better at what we do. Make sure you're beating your deadlines. Whatever you say you're going to do, exceed their expectations. And this is super important. And so, which also means the flip side of that is be careful about what you promise, right? So I have a joke, and most of my clients know this joke, that nothing can be done in less than 2 weeks, even though if it can be done in 20 minutes. I always say, can you get such and such done for me? And I'll say, I think it'll be about 2 weeks. And that's just a joke. But we are careful about saying what we can do, and we are, quite honestly, very good and very fast at what we do. And we can turn things around very quickly, but we're careful about promising a whole lot of things. So, but make sure you're exceeding those expectations. And I know that sounds like consultantese. It's so tried and so tired, but at the same time, it's so true. You really, because at some point in time, you don't want to develop that relationship where people are always asking you for things when you should have already gotten into them. You want to be beating them to the punch. Finally, you want to manage the unanticipated, the unexpected. So it's so important to speak truth to power. I think we talked about this. Was that last year's or 2 years ago? The conference thing. I think it was 2 years ago. It's a premise for my whole business on who I am and what I try to do. That I'm going to have integrity in what I do, and you aren't worth much as an evaluator if you can't stand up to your clients and tell them exactly what they need to hear. Because an evaluator is not there to be a marketing spokesperson. And a lot of our clients will ask for that, and certainly we can be a part of marketing. We can support that, but at the end of the day, we are objective. We may be somewhat subjective, but the point is we try and attempt objectivity in the work that we do. And we want to tell people what they need to hear so they can make their programs better. Beware of scope creep. Particularly, this can put you in a bad situation. Scope creep is where you agree to do one thing and then the client says, can you just do this little extra thing? Can you do this little extra thing? And we're probably not the best at scope creep in my firm. That's because we create opportunities to develop new things. But you can't allow the client to take a small project and make it into a huge project, but paying you for the small project. You need to be compensated fairly for what you do, which means the next item, say no. You need to say no. It's okay. And that goes back to your integrity. Say no more often. And while this is not necessarily the unanticipated, the AEA's competencies, I would say take a look at that. It's almost like this was tailor-made for independent consultants. You certainly want to be thinking about how you meet those competencies. And I think 5.0 interpersonal is all about working with clients. So I have my 5.5 suggestions for working with clients. And as I've said before, this is kind of based upon Gittimer's little black book of selling. He always puts these things out there, 10.5 principles of this, but I like it, 5.5 suggestions for you. So I would suggest that you attend the planning meetings, even if they aren't required. So I have a meeting tomorrow, I think, with a new client. I've been working with them on a couple of projects that they've developed but haven't been funded yet. Do they need me there? No. In fact, they're kind of curious why I want to join. But it's because they're putting together their goals right now for this NSF proposal for a NOICE program to fund pre-service STEM teachers in middle and high school. So I'm attending those meetings. It's going to be tomorrow, and I think it's critical that I'm there. And I think they're kind of delighted that I want to join, but the truth is I have a longer plan. This opportunity to create a project is, I'm not thinking about this project. I am thinking about this project, but I'm thinking about my project with them 5 years from now. What are we going to do 5 years from now? I'm always thinking down the road. So I'm attending that meeting with this client tomorrow at noon. Think database. I don't know if I need to say much there, but we all love it. You love to look at it. I know it's kind of hard, but I mean, there's a lot of people out there. It's right now, I believe it's the most popular. It's the most well attended. TIG, they have the most population. So do that, right? Swag. So what's swag? Swag's those free things you give away. It's your coffee cups, right? Here's one from when I was at Iowa State. Everybody loves a little swag. I just got in the mail yesterday my Goshen Education bookmarks. We're going to send these out to just community groups that could potentially use our services as something to keep my daughter engaged this summer and working for me. So she's going to stuff on bullets, I think tomorrow or sometime next week. But, you know, I love swag. So I get my name on a little bookmark. Plus, I'm reading a lot lately, so I always need a bookmark and I'm always looking for an extra. So now I have 250 extra. Let's see. Say no more often. And then, I know I'm going to mispronounce it. This is one of those things. Sometimes it's Veni, Vidi, Vici, right? I came, I saw, I conquered. So go out and spend time with your clients. This is where you're going to develop these relationships. These things are going to happen. You're going to be sitting there over lunch, eating, you know, a cold turkey sandwich, and the client's going to say, "Why don't we go and do this big project?" Or you can suggest it. It happens very naturally. And your 5.5 is go to those client conferences. So I want you to take a look at these evaluator competencies if you don't already know them. They were revised in April 5th, 2018. This reads like this should be the handbook for independent consultants. You read this carefully. This is what we should be doing. And thanks for listening. So coming up next week, we're going to be talking about contracting. And I actually have a lot of work to do on this because I understand my contracting, but I think I need to re-review it. And I'm doing some contracting right now for some other things. So getting myself present for it. Finally, we're going to be doing insurance in 2 weeks. I don't know what we're going to be doing on the 30th, but I have some ideas. And then very exciting, just yesterday I found out that Stephanie Evergreen and Nina Sabar are going to join us to talk about their topic on branding. This is straight from, they're going to be talking about their article that they wrote together. Which actually, we asked Stephanie Evergreen to write it. She goes, "I'm so busy," as you can only imagine. She's a very busy person. If you don't know Stephanie, she's written a lot of books. I mentioned her a little bit ago. And she's really kind of a little rock star within the evaluation world. And she is probably extremely busy. I mean, she speaks and gets paid crazy amounts of money, and we're all jealous and happy for her. But she says, "I'm too busy." And then she found Nina. Nina Sabar, by the way, isn't just a second hand to Stephanie Evergreen. She is our incoming TIC chair for the independent consultants. And she's been behind a lot of really cool stuff. And so both of those two are little rock stars. And I would have been happy to have either one of them on 2 different days. But the fact that they're both coming at the same time is super exciting. to talk about their topic, branding.